Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm so excited to be here, especially to follow the Honorable President of Israel and wishing you a warm welcome here to Tel Aviv and the Cybersecurity Conference. This is the 5th year we've had the annual Cybersecurity Conference, and I'm always excited and honored to be a part of it. And before we get started with our Game Changers and Trendsetters session, I want to remind everyone that you didn't only come out here to learn about new innovations and trends in cybersecurity. We also have a raffle. So if you signed up and if you provided your details at the Tel Aviv University Cybersecurity Center and the Yuval workshop desk at the front, you will be entitled to participate in a raffle for a very special set of electric cyber bicycles. And the winner of that will be announced later today. And I was asked to remind everybody that if you haven't signed up, please do. And in our next session, what I would like to talk to you about and what we would like to do today is to offer you a glimpse to the future of cybersecurity. For this session, we handpicked trendsetters, people from all around the world that are influencing the way cybersecurity is being shaped and what we're going to see in the next few years. In the past day, you heard about going beyond the Internet of Things. You've heard about these new types of attacks. And I think if there's one trend that we can all probably easily agree about, it's that sometimes it could be a matter of time before your organization, your company, your family, or your university becomes affected with a cybersecurity issue. In fact, stop me if you heard this one before, but some of my fellow cybersecurity professionals like to joke that there are only two types of organizations out there: those that have already been attacked and those that just haven't realized it yet. The joke would have been perhaps funnier if this was not our reality. This is the truth. Cybersecurity now affects 100% of organizations worldwide. What can we do about it? Well, like the previous speaker said, it might be a question of time before your organization becomes attacked. But what we'd like to do today is talk about how these things are happening and what are the technologies that are making that possible and the technologies that will shape the future of cybersecurity. I can tell you that when I started out my path as a cybersecurity researcher, as a hacker, about 20 years ago, new technologies like PHP and HTML were all the rage. Now they're already outdated, but they're still affecting our reality. And it will be lines of code, technology, software, hardware, that will influence our future. On that, we can count. And with that, I want to ask you, earlier many said, how many of you speak English, Hebrew? I'd like to ask you, how many of you speak Java? Because Java is right now the most popular language on the planet. Billions of devices today, not in our future, but today, speak Java. And not just on this planet, on other planets as well. The Mars Curiosity rover, sent by NASA to the red planet of Mars, also talks Java. And although Java has been around for quite a few years, it's still the source for a lot of the security vulnerabilities and the problems that we hear discussed every day. And so this is the trend that I want to present to you today. I think the future of cybersecurity is going to be about these same vulnerable technologies, software environments, and operating systems that we've all been relying on and using for the past 25 years. But it's also going to be about these technologies: radio, GPS, GSM, energy production systems, smart cars, smart planes. Everything is going to be connected. And some of these technologies are not new. They're just being connected in a new way. And another aspect that's going to influence the way we do cybersecurity are these web giants. These companies now hold in their hands the sum of all human knowledge, interaction, and memories. And they're only going to be more influential in the years to come. Don't think of Google as a search engine or an email provider. Think of them as a company that invests in the future generation of robotics, autonomous vehicles, and artificial intelligence. Don't think on Amazon as a web retailer. Think of them as a company that influences and creates new payment technologies, autonomous drones, and is now producing films and media. All of these web giants are changing our future in ways that we have not even yet imagined. So I am absolutely certain they will influence the way we all have to care and do cybersecurity in the years to come. With that, I think it's time we wake up and smell the coffee. this is absolutely a connected world in which it's not just about our information. It's not just about our secrets. In fact, many of us do not have secrets anymore. Not from these companies, we don't. Maybe we have secrets from our colleagues, our friends, our family members. But Facebook knows everything there is to know about us, and they will know even more pretty soon. So let's wake up and smell the coffee. Cybersecurity is not just about information. It's not about secrets. It's about the modern way of life, and it's only going to be more like that. In this connected world, all of these devices that you've heard about today are already a part of the Internet of Things. If you don't believe me, you can look it up on Shodan. Shodan is a Google for devices. It's a search engine for connected, vulnerable devices. You can find webcams and power plants and wind turbines and cars, everything which anyone had the idea of connecting to the internet, a toaster or a refrigerator, you can find on Shodan. But what I don't think we're discussing enough, and when we're talking about the future trends of cybersecurity, I want to highlight this point, is how much bugs, security vulnerabilities, and exploits really are the villains in the case. We keep talking about attribution, about difficulty identifying who is behind different attacks. Is it the Iranians? Is it the North Koreans? I think we should be talking about security vulnerabilities because they are the real villains of the case. And some of these security vulnerabilities, thanks to my fellow security researcher and hacker friends, are now seeing the light of day and getting names, brands, and logos that make it clear that these are the real villains in the story. And as long as humans will write code, we will have bugs, vulnerabilities, and software problems. Here's the surprising fact. We can build an immune system together to help us identify those problems, those bugs, and those security vulnerabilities. And in fact, that immune system already exists. This was my statement on the TED stage last year at TED 2014, the annual TED event where Larry Page from Google, Bill Gates from Microsoft, and Edward Snowden also spoke. And I claimed that this immune system for the internet and the technology era already exists. And the surprising fact is that security researchers and hackers are already exposing a lot of these security bugs. And this is not just my idea. In fact, there is academic research that shows that the bug bounty programs, the frameworks that allow programs like Mozilla Firefox or the Google Chrome browser to generously reward security researchers for finding bugs, this is already an effective way to make all of us safer. So congratulations, if you ever use Firefox or Chrome, you've already been protected by this immune system, although you've never thought about it like that. Not just Google and Mozilla, Microsoft has a wide-ranging security program to reward vulnerability discovery. This is Katie Masuris, who helped Microsoft launch this program. And so there is a new breed of security researchers and hackers out there, hackers that contribute to programs that are protecting technologies we all rely on, and in many cases helping find problems that you didn't even know exist before you know about them. And I should point out that Facebook is perhaps one of the pioneers of such programs. Not a surprise considering the fact that Facebook was founded by a hacker, and that if you want to visit the headquarters of Facebook, the address you would have to punch into your GPS is #1 Hacker Way, Menlo Park, California. That's the real address. You can look it up. So these companies that are creating the future have already realized they can work with this immune system. And this new breed of security researcher, like Miss Marion Marshalek, who was supposed to join us here today on this stage, these are the heroes, I think, not the villains. These are security researchers and hackers that are identifying bugs in technologies and making them known to the public. And maybe it's a good time to start thinking about hackers in a different light. So that would be the trend that I'd like to suggest to you today. And what I'm talking about, those hero hackers of mine, I also want to give a warm shout out to my good friends from the Tel Aviv University Yuval Ne'eman workshop. Our friends from the Red Team. It's a voluntary team of some of the best hackers in Israel. And these guys, yes, they absolutely deserve it. And these guys, by day, they are elite cybersecurity researchers with some of the leading companies in Israel. But by night, they volunteer their time on a pro bono basis to help organizations in Israel discover security problems. In the past year, they've visited hospitals and community centers, and they were able to uncover some pretty massive security problems that were yet unknown. So this is the approach I'd like to talk to you about, not just technology, but also security talent, and how we are learning to work with hackers and security researchers in a new way, and learning to give them the respect that I believe they are due. And with that in mind, I'd like to also remind us that in the next few years, we're going to need 1 million security professionals to fill the gaps in the cybersecurity workforce. This according to a report by Cisco. So if you're already here, congratulations. But if you have a daughter, a niece, a cousin, a brother, an uncle, an aunt that is even somewhat interested in cybersecurity, now is the time to send them to school here at Tel Aviv University or somewhere else to learn about how to become a cybersecurity professionals, because that is a primary trend of the future, and that is we're going to need that workforce with us. Now, I want to bring all of this together. You heard in the past few days about how we're living in connected times. So the first trend I want you to take away from us from this session today is that we have to think about ourselves as living in one connected ecosystem. It's not just one organization, one university, or one household as an island. We're all together in this. And if we are all together in this, it's high time we start collaborating and sharing and innovating in how we talk about security challenges and solving them for the future. And we also have to focus on building that future security talent. Not just technology, but also the people that are going to save our future. That's why I'm also proud to tell you that Tel Aviv University and the Yuval Ne'eman workshop has, in each year of this conference, also had a unique session for the youth, the next generation of cybersecurity warriors and defenders, where we talk about these problems of the future, and we try to help high school kids, boys and girls, to find their way in this field. And with that in mind, I'd like you to think about these trends, what is going to change in the next few years. And I'd like to invite our next speaker to the stage. And as he comes up to the stage, I'm going to tell you a little bit what he's going to tell us all about. So our next speaker in this session is Mr. Nick Prococo. He's a vice president at Rapid7. Now, many of you maybe have not heard about Rapid7 before, but I'm going to tell you, they're the people that developed Metasploit, a very popular hacking tool. They also built a lot of other important security technologies. Before joining Rapid7, Nick was also with TrustWave and Spider Labs, and he ran security operations at VeriSign and Internet Security Systems. But what I'm really excited about is that Nick is also a co-founder for a grassroots hacker movement called I Am the Cavalry. And Nick is going to tell us a little bit about what these new grassroots hackers are all about, and help us, I think, shed some light on the trends ahead. So please join me in welcoming Nick to the stage.
Great. Thank you.